Project Neighbors was born in the late 1960s when a former Valparaiso University football coach by the name of Walt Reiner was teaching an urban studies class in Chicago where suburban kids would go for a semester to learn about life in the city. He was in conversation with a church secretary who had assisted in the programming of this educational effort. She said, "I sure wish I could move to a nice little town like Valpo where my kids would be safe." She had 6 children. She was a single mom, lived in Cabrini Green. He said, "You'd be crazy to move to Valparaiso," because at the time there was only one African American in Valpo, and that was a VU prof who I happened to know because I was a student at the time. And he was, the only housing he could secure was to live in an abandoned sorority house that the university owned. Well, Walt put together a group of colleagues who pooled their resources, and after not being able to rent or purchase a house, he happened to own an empty lot next to his own residence, and they built Barbara Cotton and her 6 children a house to live in. Race is a central theme of the Project Neighbors mission. Barbara's extended family and friends all wanted to move after she did. After 7 or 8 families had moved here, all African Americans, the organization diversified and basically asked these, they were all single moms, "What else do you need?" And they said, "Well, we need daycare so we can get jobs, and we need help with health care." Out of that grew something called the Hilltop Neighborhood House, which is a state-of-the-art daycare center that runs a very robust scholarship program, and an organization called HealthLink, which is now one of the largest community health centers in the state of Indiana. All of it grew out of that expression of need some 25 years ago.
I've been here in Valpo probably 30 years, but if you look around, you don't see anybody building affordable houses. So this really fills the niche, I believe.
The work of Project Neighbors is really important in Valpo because lower income families are priced out of the area if it weren't for homes and low rent units, so that they can afford to live here and find and fill a very important part of the job market.
We basically can build for about 60% of what the market would charge. This duplex will rent for a little more than half price of market, and volunteers make that happen.
I would encourage anyone with even those skills to come here, because you learn a whole lot to start doing your own projects on your own because you have confidence. I know I've gained a lot by working side by side with those experienced contractors and builders.
Well, it fills the calendar, it gives you something to do. I still like building, I always like constructing, so it's something constructive to do. And being a volunteer, you could come out 1 day a week, 2 days, 5 days a week, whatever you want.
I'm 73 years old. I was a school teacher for 10 years. I ran a construction company for 25 years. When I retired, I found a big hole in my life, so I can work at this every day of the week instead of just weekends. My motivation is that it's meaningful work. It's work with a purpose. We enrich the culture because we allow people of all stripes to live in town, and to live in town in very safe and comfortable housing. That's a benefit. We get to know what the real world is like. It's a way of creating community, a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose, and I'm privileged to be the one to make that possible for people.